Now to the biggest story from India, the violence in Manipur. I'm sure you've seen the pictures, houses on fire, gun battles, ethnic clashes. It's been a really worrying couple of weeks. And on Tuesday, things escalated even more. 9 people were shot dead in the village of Aijiang. Take a look at this map. It is located in southern Manipur. It's also very close to the Myanmar border. Why is that important? Because some groups are pointing fingers across the border. They say militants from Myanmar were behind this attack. Now, this is a very complicated issue. The violence itself is internal, but the fear is that outside elements could hijack it, that insurgents could feed on the fear. So let's look at the fundamental issues here. How did the violence start? What is the threat from Myanmar and how serious is it? To understand the violence, you must know Manipur's demography. 2 groups are important here. The Meitei community, which lives in the valley, and the Kukis, who live on the hills. Meiteis make up around 53% of the state's population. The Kuki community is around 28%. Now, these are numbers from the year 2011, more than a decade old. We don't know how they've changed in the years since. The Meiteis have generally dominated state politics in Manipur. All except 2 chief ministers have been from this community. The Kukis are a scheduled tribe, ST. Their land and culture is protected by the Constitution of India. They also have quotas for jobs. But the Meitei community does not have the ST tag, and that is the root cause of this conflict. Because Meiteis want to be declared a scheduled tribe. They claim their numbers have fallen, their language is under threat, and their ancestral land is being taken away. The Kuki community disagrees. In the month of March, the Manipur High Court got involved. It asked the state government to recommend ST status for Meiteis. That's when all hell broke loose. Tribal groups took out marches across the state. There was arson and shooting. So far, around 116 people have died. More than 1,700 houses have been burned down, and around 40,000 people have been displaced. India's Home Minister Amit Shah visited the state this month. The Indian Army is also on the job. Yet the violence refuses to die down. The clashes on Tuesday were the biggest since May. Houses were set on fire. There was gunfighting on the streets, and in the end, 9 people died. Reports say they belong to the Meitei community. So that answers the first question. How did the violence erupt? Now to the second one. What is this threat from Myanmar? Let's pull up that map again. Manipur and Myanmar share a border, a 400-kilometer-long border. It's very porous. Less than 10% of that border is fenced, meaning it's very easy to cross. And this has led to 2 problems. Number one, there is a steady flow of refugees, especially after the coup in 2021 in Myanmar. Meiteis say that these refugees are close to Kukis and they're altering the state's demography. The other side, of course, denies this. The second problem is more insurgency. Each group had their own extremist sidekick, like the Kuki Revolutionary Army or the United National Liberation Front, UNLF, which is a Meitei group. They used to be very powerful once. But today, these groups are based in Myanmar. The dense jungle near the border is a perfect place to hide. The current violence seems to have given them an opportunity, the perfect opportunity, a chance to reignite the insurgency. The state government already suspects that. They accused groups from Myanmar for the violence last month. So the question is this: what can be done now? The obvious option is to solidify the border. Home Minister Amit Shah did talk about it. He says efforts are underway to survey the entire frontier. Listen to this.
परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन के लिए हमने म्यांमार और मणिपुर की बॉर्डर पर पहले ही ट्रायल बेस पर 10 किलोमीटर बाड़ लगाने का, फेंसिंग करने का काम हमने पूरा कर लिया है और 80 किलोमीटर के काम को हमने टेंडरिंग कर चुके हैं और बाकी की बॉर्डर की हम सर्वे भी चालू कर रहे हैं.
Can India expect help from Myanmar? That seems unlikely right now. India does not support the military junta, although it does engage with them. India has called for a return to democracy in Myanmar. Plus, the Myanmar border area is dangerous terrain. It is not completely under the junta's control either. The government clearly has plans to contain the situation, but urgency is key. There is an internet ban in some parts of the state. There's also Section 144, a curfew. While the short-term solution is clearly internal, in the long term, India will have to deal with the Myanmar question.